I'm very pleased to introduce Luiza Sato from ASBZ Advogados in Brazil. Luiza is partner in the firm, is leading the data protection practice, and luckily for us is also the representative of the firm as exclusive member of PrivacyRules for the Brazilian jurisdiction. There is an important anniversary to celebrate in a few weeks from now. In fact, the entry into force of the much awaited Brazilian law on data protection. So Luiza, in the classical, very limited 10 minutes for this Privacy Espresso, can you tell us about the implementation and also the activities of the Brazilian Data Protection Authority, please?
Thank you, Andrea, for the introduction. And yes, of course, you made me scared with the 10-second limits. In 10 minutes, I can do it. But yeah, so yes, our Brazilian General Data Protection Law, the LGPD, will turn 1 year old in September. So we had the law effective on September the 18th last year. And just the sanctions, the administrative sanctions, they became effective in August this year. But apart from this chapter of the law, the LGPD came into force almost 1 year now. And we also have our authority, the ANPD, our supervisory authority, already working. So this is great, because they are working hard. They are publishing lots of guidelines, and we expect a lot of work from them. So on the implementation in Brazil, I really thought that at this point we would be in a later stage, but we unfortunately are not. Of course, we're expecting things to change in the future, but now we are really not that advanced. So can you see my screen? That's good. Okay, so just for you to know, last week this survey was published, and the RD Station survey, and we had this information that 93% of the companies, they are aware of the existence of the LGPD, and they know that they have to be in compliance with that law. And only 7% have never heard of this law in Brazil. So this is a good thing. Most of the companies, they are aware of the existence of the LGPD, but the bad news is this one. Only 15% of such companies said that they are ready, that they are compliant, or at least almost they're finishing their compliance projects. 85% of them are still in the early stages of implementation, or worse than that, they have not done anything at all. So this is really not the place we want it to be. And this is the ASBZ data, or let's say what we hear from our clients, the reasons why they are not yet working hard on their implementation projects. So the first reason for not really starting their projects is because COVID-19 set forth other priorities, and they decided to invest in other projects. The second reason would be no budget, set forth for this project. And the third is uncertainty on the effectiveness of the law and its application by the authorities. So this is really sad for me to hear, but yes, this is one of the reasons why certain Brazilian companies are still not developing their LGPD compliance projects. Moving on here also, the top 5 requests from clients during this first year of the LGPD are the following. First one, of course, adequacy projects. We have been required a lot to perform those projects in Brazil, these compliance projects. And most of them really started not because the companies are afraid of the sanctions, the penalties. It's nothing related to that, but because they were they were missing business opportunities because they were not adequate to the LGPD. So this is a good thing to know. The second top request would be the review of data processing addenda. So that's also a good information for us to have. So companies are amending their agreements with suppliers and including data protection clauses. Training sessions, we have done that a lot, and now we are performing those sessions specifically for certain areas of the company, especially HR and CRM, customer relationships management. The fourth one would be specific consultation on the applicable legal basis, and especially diversity and inclusion projects. So we are receiving lots of requests for consultation on that. And of course, cross-border data transfer, similar to the GDPR. We have one entire chapter on this matter, and there are lots and lots and lots of clarifications needed on this matter. Okay, so we need to speak about ANPD's agenda. So again, ANPD is our supervisory authority, our body that is created specifically for implementing this law in Brazil. And we have in ANPD's agenda the following matters to be discussed, and we're going to have guidelines and also regulations on these specific matters. The first one would be specific rules for small companies. So the LGPD now does not really set for specific requirements for small companies, startups, natural persons. So we're going to have specific rules for that issued by ANPD. We also are expecting within the next weeks a regulation regarding the application of the penalties. Information security incidents, we are also expecting for ANPD to briefly issue a regulation on this matter. The data protection impact assessments, we're also expecting guidelines on that, because what we have in the LGPD is not enough for us to know when to prepare and how to prepare them. We are also expecting regulations on how how data subjects should exercise their rights, and how companies should attend to those rights. Also, we're expecting regulations on the data protection officer. So differently from the GDPR, here our LGPD sets for that everyone has to indicate a DPO. So this is becoming kind of really hard rule to obey to. We're expecting, of course, cross-border data transfers regulation, because the way that the law is written, we just do not have access to those mechanisms that are really, really similar to the GDPR ones. And of course, regulations and guidelines on the legal basis. We still are expecting lots of things, as you see, to be developed by the ANPD. This is for the next year, so they're going to have a lot of work. And finally, what to expect for the next year, we're expecting a viral effect, people talking about the LGPD more and more, and requiring their contractual parties to be adequate to the LGPD. So this is something that we expect. Also a greater awareness for the processing agents and the data subjects, because as we can see, companies are aware of this law, but data subjects, they're mostly not in Brazil. And also an increase of consultations and, of course, litigation on this matter. So we are expecting a lot of new work involving this matter. This is all I had for today. Andre, I think it's good for us to say that we are going to have a special conversation between members of PrivacyRules within the next month, I believe. And then I will give a lot more details on this first year of the LGPD.
Luiza, thank you very much. I'm not surprised at all that you managed to be within the 10 minutes. Great experts like you can be absolutely clear and helpful to the audience, though being concise. Indeed, actually, we will be very pleased to welcome you again and somehow elaborate more on this 1 year of implementation together with colleagues of yours from PrivacyRules, so from other countries, and an international perspective about it also with colleagues of PrivacyRules from Europe, in order to discuss about similarities and differences between the LGPD and General Data Protection Regulation of the European Union. I also want to take again the chance to thank you, because we had a very interesting global conference in the beginning of June, which is published on PrivacyRules website, and you brought in from Brazil the director of the authority. It was extremely helpful to learn from her. So we invite very much to contact Luiza Sato from ASBZ Advogados. You will have all the data about her at the end of this recording. Luiza, bom dia. Thank you very much again for this. Obrigado from all of us. and we will be connected very soon with the next event. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrea.